Knots always want more. That's why there's padlocks on the front door. That's why the window blinds don't ever shine like it. The bad side of life seems so inviting. So I'm unsure if I'm unsure. I'm just a big shot who's coming up short. I'm just a little boy trapped in a grown man's body. Only time I ever want is when I know I ain't got it. So give me that piece. Give me that piece. Give me that, give me that, give me that piece. Give me that piece. Give me that piece. Give me that piece. You know it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Need a little something more. 5, 6, 7, 8. All that other shit can wait. 9, 10, 11, 12. While I do this to myself. I need some beats right now. I'm talking 1, 2, 3, 4. Need a little something more. 5, 6, 7, 8. All that other shit can wait. 9, 10, 11, 12. While I do this to myself. I need some beats right now. I'm trying to make mine. The time is on my side, and that's a great sign. Going with the flow, I never swam a straight line. My ocean at the moment's only feeling waist high. So maybe I can stay afloat and take a stage dive in the deep part of it. I don't have to say why, I don't even bother me. Hit you with the face palm. If you keep hollering, I'll pop you, then it's over. Make you Leviosa on some Harry Potter shit. Yeah, I will not admit, yeah, I'm dishonest with, yeah, my own consciousness. I kinda miss the obvious, yeah, plus I got a bitch, yeah, but I know life's a bitch. I guess that makes me polyamorous. That's probably cause I have nots, always want more. That's why there's padlocks on the front door. That's why the window blinds don't ever shine like it. The bad side of life seems so inviting. So I'm unsure if I'm unsure. I'm just a big shot who's coming up short. I'm just a little boy trapped in a grown man's body. Only time I ever want is when I know I ain't got it. So give me that piece. Give me that piece. Give me that, give me that, give me that piece. Give me that piece. Give me that piece. Give me that piece. You know it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Need a little something more. 5, 6, 7, 8. All that other shit can wait. 9, 10, 11, 12. While I do this to myself. I need some beats right now. I'm talking 1, 2, 3, 4. Need a little something more. 5, 6, 7, 8. All that other shit can wait. 9, 10, 11, 12. While I do this to myself. I need some beats right now. Give me that.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another live stream here. Let me make sure everything looks good. Volume looks good. Kill that one. Cool. If you're new here, my name is Zach. This is Real Deal Futures, where I trade live on YouTube for free and do a whole bunch of other fun stuff. Make sure you read this disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just an idiot on YouTube. Trading's risky. Most traders lose money. You'll probably lose money if you trade too. Nothing you see or hear me do here or anywhere else is a suggestion or recommendation to do anything. Read this full disclaimer on my site. It's in the description of this video. Read Rule 4.41 from CFTC. Read the affiliate partner disclaimer as well. Let's take a look at the charts. I'll run you through my one trade for break even on YM this morning. I will actually talk about my analysis coming into the open because, as promised in Discord, even though I am not trading live in the morning here with you guys until about 11:30 a.m. right now, I'm going to provide what I'm looking at coming into NYSE Open because I'm trading YM pretty aggressively right into the open. So, in Discord, hop in the free Discord. If you want to double check, you can go back and look. I explained what I was looking at. Let me just go ahead and pull this up so you guys can look at it. This was a screenshot of Bookmap. Bookmap is my favorite order flow tool. This was about 8:45 a.m. Eastern. I was looking at these two levels above price. This was just one thing that I was looking at. And I mentioned I would be looking long, up towards those levels, depending on what happened here between 8:45 a.m. and 9:30 a.m. And then I would be looking short from those levels back down towards VWAP. If we broke down below first, or we continued kind of this, testing VWAP and then maybe started to sell off, I'd be looking for this gap to fill. The edge fill gap was marked at 42,318, and then potentially even around these lows from Friday. Basic level of structure around the 250 area. What did we get at the open? Actually, before the open, after I sent this analysis, about 8:45, 9 o'clock, I was sending that. 9:30, we popped up at the open, filled this first level on Bookmap. I'm not looking to jump in short on the first level because I have reason to believe that this next level might act like a magnet and we might come head up this way. Jumped in short here. I did add a second contract, which put my risk a little bit aggressive for the initial stop loss that I had, kind of wide on this. Tightened up a bit, and great trade, great read of the market, great entry, just poor trade management. I went stop loss to break even as we started to push down here a couple times, and as you could see on these kind of indecision candles on the 5-minute, came back, clipped me at break even though we had a little bit of drawdown here. And this thing played beautifully back to VWAP. The note in my journal today is, and I'm not really one to do that. I don't like to choke up on my trades too much. My note in my journal today will read, you got to let these trades breathe. You have to run a wide enough stop loss, usually with some, what I'm seeing as like normal volatility in YM, between like, let's say 50 and 80 ticks or points, roughly, is a pretty wide stop loss. That's usually enough for me to survive some kind of crazy movements, let the trade breathe, if I'm going to enter pretty aggressively the way that I did right here. If I choke up right at break even as soon as we move 10, 20 points in profit, I'm probably going to get stopped out, and I'm never going to let the trade play out. I'll just get stop out, and then full, stop losses. Along with that, the note is, did you get too aggressive scaling in, and were you not comfortable accepting that risk? And did that contribute to you moving stop loss to break even a little bit early and getting stopped out? Probably. But that's why I reflect. That's why I journal and look at this stuff. But again, hop in the free Discord. I'm going to do more of that. Today was pretty detailed. I don't know that I will get as detailed as that. But you'll get my charts. If there's something really interesting the way that there was on Bookmap coming into the open, I'll share that with you guys. Again, Bookmap and Edgeful. I'm a partner with both of those. You can grain of salt everything I say. I find them incredibly useful for situations exactly like this. Do they work out every single time? Does this play out just like this? Am I a magician that has a perfect read of the market every day and I know what's going to happen? Absolutely not. We could have completely disrespected these levels. We could have chopped at VWAP. We could have sold off. We could have blasted through these levels, which all actually things that I talked about happening in the analysis as well. Next area that I was going to be looking short would be up near this, next level coming off of Friday's high, right? I think I actually called out that next high that I'd be looking at as well. So that was my trade. A little bit frustrating to take a break even, but nobody's fault but my own. So you read it, review. I'm actually going to keep this link before I get rid of it. Let me go ahead and throw that over here. Sorry, guys. Cool. We'll clean up this chart and we will see what else we have setting up, man. But yeah, I mean, again, just breaking this down a little bit further, guys. I'm actually doing a couple more long form videos as well. Guys on YouTube seem to, want that, and everybody likes the basics of the strategy and approach. I trade YM very simply, very, very simply, right? I could almost handle it with just looking at discretionary levels and VWAP. At the open, if you go back through and you back test and take a look at how YM moves at the open, how Dow moves at the open, it loves to go and retest major levels of structure, Bookmap levels, Edgeful levels, right at the open, and then aggressively revert to VWAP. So the really rough, basic way that I'm looking at this is I want to short above VWAP, back down towards VWAP, and I'm looking to long below VWAP, back up towards VWAP. I take into consider other things like, what does pre-market look like? Are we on an absolute sell-off to the downside and VWAP is 400 points away? Well, I'm probably not looking long to VWAP in that situation. Are we chopping crazy? There's a wild range and we're right at VWAP? Well, maybe I don't have a setup. Is the next level an absurd point away that really wouldn't make sense to short from there back towards VWAP or even to short at all? All of these things come into play. What the actual entry looks like for me, it's usually either one of two things. I'm going to enter, again, for YM, when we're moving really fast near the open, I'm going to enter really aggressively right at the level, right? I'm just going to short on buying pressure coming up, wide enough stop loss to try to survive any type of move. I get a solid entry doing that. I run the risk of being stopped out if price just continues that direction. Or I'm going to wait for some structure to start to form at whatever level I'm looking to maybe short or long from, whatever area of interest I'm paying attention to. And I'm going to look to wait maybe for some hesitation, some type of, structure and price action that shows me, hey, sellers are stepping back in here. Buyers are not able to rip this thing higher. Time to get in. I will typically get a worse entry and will have to structure my risk off of whatever structure forms at that level. But that's the basis of YM for me in the morning. Pretty simple. Again, provides enough of an edge for me to make it work. If you combine solid risk management, the way that you're approaching your risk management, and then some trade management as well, you're good to go. Especially, again, if you're paying attention to things like Bookmap, you're paying attention to things like Edgeful, where we are in higher time frame market structure, what do levels looking left just off of basic raw price action structure, right? Highs and lows, near impulsive moves, tops and bottoms. You can call them support and resistance, supply and demand, order blocks. I just call these levels of interest, discretionary levels of interest. Where are those? And you utilize that to structure your trades, man. It doesn't have to be rocket science, this stuff. I know it can seem like a lot when I'm talking about Bookmap, when I'm talking about Edgeful, but at its core, man, I really can't overemphasize how simple I try to keep this stuff. The real nuances come in risk management and trade management, like you saw on that one, where I got myself stopped at break even, got out for $10 instead of just letting the thing run. So looking at and then as we come into the rest of the day, let me kind of just finish this thought, kind of baseline to my trading. If you guys are new, or I can refer people back to this. As the day starts to wear on, we get past the first 10, 15, 30 minutes, I start to trade based off of market structure and price action a little bit more. Now I'm not just looking to short above VWAP, long below VWAP, back towards VWAP, off of some level, off of Bookmap, off of Edgeful. Now I'm going to start to pay attention to what does the structure look like, right? Because now we have more data. It's not just the open where we have a blank chart in front of 9:30 a.m. Now I have data printing. Now we have buyers and sellers starting to tell a story through candlesticks. We're watching this price action, right? And I might say, okay, well, we got a badass trend to the upside forming. We swept down below lows, whatever it is. Today, we came up here. We filled these Bookmap levels. Sellers got filled here, whatever those orders may be on the sell side. And we retested VWAP, pushed back up, really failed to get back above this level. The 650 is down here, where you had all these candle closures. We did come all the way up to almost the 700s, the 42,700 level. And sellers have just taken this thing back down lower, back down towards VWAP. So now, what am I looking at? Do I really believe we are in for a trend to the upside today? I'm not 100% sure, right? We haven't had this super duper clean break and retest structure, and we've failed a number of times to get above this. As we were cracking above here, that looked really good for longs, but now we've got more data printing that, we're coming back down to VWAP. Again, sellers stepping back in to bring this thing lower. It's a no news Monday, just some basic information, not paying attention really to fundamentals, just saying, hey, we don't have any news. Election week next week, anything can happen. Got a bunch of earnings and things like that coming out into this week. This could be pretty choppy. On a day like today, I try not to form a strong bias, but as I see chop overnight and then some choppiness at the open, maybe I'm looking just more rotational, I'm not looking for a massive trend that's going to form and rip to the upside or rip to the downside unless that starts to happen. So as we get, longer into the day, longer into the session, right? It's 11:30 here. How I look to trade YM into the afternoon. Power hours, a little bit more specific, but into the midday and afternoon, a little bit more structure and price action based, right? It's not so cut and dry, really simply off of, levels and VWAP really aggressively. Probably going to wait for a little more structure, a little more price action. If something is still a strong level on the chart, the way this is down here, sure, I'll look to get aggressive down there or towards it. But yeah, again, discretionary price action, market structure, using volume tools like VWAP and traditional volume, paying attention to order flow by the way of Bookmap, and utilizing Edgeful stats to structure very simple trades. That's what we're doing here, guys. So that was a long-winded overview of kind of how I look to trade Dow coming into the open, and then going later into the day. I don't have some magical setup that forms or something super specific at 11:30 a.m. that I look for. I'm paying attention to the data that forms. I'm understanding where we are within the structure of the day. So right now, I don't have anything. I'm going to wait to see what happens. We came down near VWAP. I don't have any amazing setting up here. I'm not really looking long to rip towards Friday's high, although this is the next level that I'll be paying attention to. Could throw another level on the chart, but we could see it on the 5-minute chart, so I'm really not worried about it. If we start to sell off and get down below VWAP, I'm almost more inclined to look short on this. Not to be the never-ending bear here. I think everybody is paying attention to this right here, this gap, and this gap up from Friday's close. I think it's a pretty obvious point that is on all of the U.S. indices, if I'm thinking correctly. So if we start to get back down below VWAP, maybe we get some structure that forms. We look for a short back down towards the lows of pre-market and of this gap down here. So I'm just going to wait and see. We come back up off VWAP. I'll tell you, again, we come back up off VWAP here and buyers step in. We crack these highs. I do think we have a good chance to come higher, right? Sellers trying to take this thing lower, failing, holding VWAP. Now, maybe we look towards this level here, Friday's high. If we come through VWAP, buyers are not able to hold this thing, not able to take it higher. I think it's much more likely that we do start to move down. I do just understand that this is pretty choppy. This is pretty rangy in here, and we could just end up pulling these kind of back and forth rangy moves. Right now, gun to my head, I'm short through VWAP, though. I feel it's a little early to pull that right now. I want to see what happens here. Maybe we get a little bit of a break, and then we continue lower. But again, gun to my head, I'm short through VWAP. Getting back down below these lows of the session, these lows at the open. This is actually the open right here, this low right here. And maybe a test of this level right down here, which was on my chart from, is this Thursday's? Thursday's low, or all the way back down towards this gap. It'd be a really nice entry if you were going to, now's your chance if you're going to target that gap. Stop way above the high, saying if it comes up here, trade's invalidated, and I'm going to look for, a really large move. I'm going to look for, Dow to start selling off and get pretty weak here, come back down towards filling, this gap down here. That's a pretty large move to target for me. I think that could end up being a painfully long trade to sit through unless this thing starts selling off. So I'm going to look to see what happens over here. Do we find support? Do we chop around? Do we come pull something like this? Maybe I'm able to structure a short on the way down. Stop loss not above the session high, but above some important level that gets put in, and we could target a nice positive risk reward on a trade like this at the downside. But right now we are at VWAP. I don't want to trade this. Here was your opportunity to long off VWAP. If I'm going to trade from VWAP, I would like to do it earlier in the session or after it really hasn't been tested more than one time. If we're chopping around it or we're coming back down to test it again after failing to move higher, I'm not as convinced this is going to hold right here. So I don't know that we want to just long right off of this thing. So sitting patient. Nothing crazy on Bookmap after those few levels filled this morning. Looks to me just like the liquidity provider algo bands that kind of track above and below price. If something does come on the book, I'll let you guys know. We'll take a look at Bookmap together. But while I am on here with you guys, and I appreciate you being here, man, feel free, hit likes, hit subscribe if you find this stuff helpful. I'm going to run through this level right here, what I'm looking at, and what a lot of guys are talking about today with the gap fill. Let me pull up YM, and we will look at this bad boy together. Here we go, guys. This is Edgeful. Again, full disclaimer, I am partnered with Edgeful. You could try this stuff out for free. They are a platform that provides really easy to read statistics based on a number of different things. Levels on the chart, different types of movements, price action, structure, different times of session. This one that we're looking at is called the Gap Fill Report. What this is measuring is from prior day's close. If the second day opens at NYSE open above price, more often than not, above that close, more often than not, price comes back down to fill that gap. If it If there's a gap down, price opens up below prior day's closing price. More often than not, 69% of the time over the last 6 months of data, those gaps are filled. Price returns to fill that gap. Does it happen every time? Is this a magic way to go long or short? Absolutely not, man. We're talking about around a 70% chance of this happening. If you combine this with market structure, price action, maybe some volume tools, maybe bookmap on the side, I think these can be very, very powerful. And if nothing else, they can help you understand levels and areas on the chart and the way that price moves more often than not. So that's what we're looking at here with this gap fill on Dow. We have a gap up situation, and you can even see this in the what's in play section that gives you live data. This is showing you a gap, bearish bias. It's giving you the target price, right, of that fill area. If it came back down to fill, this would be the area that it would have to hit. Gives you a streak, what happened the last few days, gives you some stats based on that report page we were just looking at. This can be helpful. You can literally just hop over to this page, what's in play, take a look, what's open, what's setting up, and say, oh, look, we got something to pay attention to. We got a gap up situation. We got a target down below price. We know that 70% of the time those do fill within NYSE session. Something to be aware of. So Edgeful, link in the description of this video if you want to try that out for free. Free trial for Edgeful. Bookmap, I am a partner with Bookmap as well. You could try that out, but you do have to pay for it. I got a discount for Bookmap. So let's sit patient here around VWAP. Take a look and see what we may get on this one. See the boys in Discord talking. My game plan for YM was to fill that gap. Gotcha. I'm reading some comments from Discord. 42,300 support. I gotta slow my talking down here. Gotcha. Gotta come up with a new game plan. Sit in my hands. I feel that. Saw your analysis before market open. Nice. Yep. Someone saying that a deal saying they want to consider Bookmap. Yeah, man. Helpful. Again, you don't always get stuff like that from Bookmap. Again, like you hear me right now. You hear me on a lot of these sessions saying, hey, Bookmap's really not helping me out. Here's what I'm looking at. For levels on Bookmap, just like I showed you in the morning. Can I go back that far? Did it record? This is what I'm looking for. This is what I'm looking for. Really, really obvious levels standing out. Large stacks of orders on the book that you can see, even on the depth of market itself. Right here where, hey, maybe we want to come up and fill these. It will be confirmed by volume showing on the book as well. Right now, we kind of just have this scattered algorithmic liquidity. I've heard it called liquidity bands, liquidity providers above and below price, not like quote unquote real liquidity, although it is real. I'm looking for, orders sitting on the book, large stacks of orders above and below price, maybe to be paying attention to for areas of interest. We'll leave it as open and vague as that. Simple. I'm a horizontal level guy. I get made fun of for saying that word, like as opposed to what? Vertical, but just horizontal levels. Simple. Areas of interest on the chart. I'm going to read price action and market structure, and I want to pay attention around certain specific levels on the chart. Even more so to that market structure and price action. Let's take a look, and yeah, man, we'll see what we get on this one. See if we can find something that looks appetizing on this fine no news Monday here. If we sit around VWAP, we start to just chop around, the way we are right now, just kind of slow moving. It can be difficult to get involved, right? Like I've heard a couple of guys say ES was choppy today. ES on the 5-minute. Let's look at the open. So we can kind of just do a little analysis. Yeah, kind of choppy, man, right? Choppy overnight. Didn't push up at the open the way that YM did. Looking much weaker right now, right? Starting to break down below. Putting the lows of the session in right here, breaking down below this low over here, looking left. Not quite down to start to fill this gap here, but looking pretty weak. But before that, pretty dang choppy, man. Pretty back and forth. Let's see what Dow has for us today. Yeah, nothing crazy on Bookmap. Sitting right around VWAP. This could this could turn into a nice play if we get some direction coming up here. We are at a decent point on the chart. We're at VWAP, right? So we're kind of at that average price weighted by volume, and I'd like to see what we get from here. Or are we just going to start to rotate and kind of end up with this choppy day where we see ES and NQ come back up into this this trading range, and YM maybe come down a little bit lower and then just continue to chop around? I'm gonna hang out a little bit. Again, gun to my head right now. I'm short. That's my thought process. Maybe wait for a retest of something like that. And that would give you I think the cheapest short, the cheapest trade, best opportunity, to the downside, best upside opportunity, I'll say, not the best opportunity. Long off of VWAP is absolutely a play as well. You could be aggressively long off of VWAP. You could be long now off of VWAP, saying, look, we're holding it, buyer stepping in. Maybe stop loss below lows of the session, and I think we're going to come up here and retest Friday's high. So if I can make that easy of a case for both directions, kind of tells me to just hang tight and wait to see what happens here. A little bit more data on the chart. But yeah, this is feeling weak. Based on the market structure and price action that I'm looking at. I think a reaction to the upside is possible. And if we saw something like a push up and then, all the way back down, or maybe even some more structure coming down, I'd be even more inclined to look short. I don't know on a day like today with this kind of volatility, that the way that price is moving, that we see like a big wick back up above and then continuation down. So I like this as a level of invalidation to say if we come back up, yeah, I think we're headed higher. We're wrong on the move. We're not coming down lower. But I'd like to see what we do here. I may be even inclined to sell right into this selling pressure back down below VWAP, like off of a very, very small pullback here. Not a great risk structure like I talked about earlier with this, with the highs of the session, but we'll stay patient. We'll wait and see. Do we get something that sets up nicely, that allows us to structure risk, have at least somewhat idea that we can capture a favorable risk to reward because I'm discretionary with my management. But I like to have the idea, the way that I trade Dow, that I can make a little bit more than I stand to lose if the trade works out. But man, if you guys got questions, feel free, ask away. Trading questions, welcome. If you got something valid, I will talk about it, man. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, again, interesting level. Short is my call. If you said you got to pick, shorts to play, but this just isn't beautiful for me. If this structure looked a little bit different, if I had a way to get a stop above session high, again, a pretty clean invalidation point, I'd be more inclined to try this. But to take on, 100 and 115, 120, let's say, points and ticks of risk, I'd really need a move to play all the way out to the downside like this. I'd love to not have to do that. I'd love to just have to come back down and sweep below lows here, which I think is a pretty easy to see move. But then I got a stop loss here. And I think that we can do one of these. Just kind of jerk around here, pull right back up here, and then continue, at least down here. So I'm in a waiting position here. I got a good feeling that I'm going to watch this trade play out. That's okay. That's okay. If I don't have a way to structure risk that makes sense, I really can't get into a trade. At least that's my style, and I think should be most guys' styles, no matter what approach you're trading. Well, let's see, man. Do you have a Top Step combine with Bookmap? No, I don't. I trade from TopstepX, and this is just Bookmap data on the side. Although you can trade directly from Bookmap, I don't. I just run this on the side. I want to use my candlestick charts. I'm not getting that deep with Bookmap where I'm going to trade from Bookmap itself. I think that would be a whole nother level of it. So I just run this on the side. This is just in data mode, simulation mode, whatever they call it, where there's no broker account connected to it. It's just live level 2 data getting fed into Bookmap. But you can, if you wanted to, you can trade from Bookmap. But I do not do that. Tony Hawkeye, what's up, man? Very quiet compared to another channel. Anyone else? I don't know what that means, but maybe Top Step. I'm not sure. Mike S, what's up? But yeah, Tony Hawk, killing it, dude. Killing it, man. Hop in the Discord if you want to follow along on someone that's on a heater. What do you think about New York? New week. I'm quiet in here. Hang on one second. I'm sorry, dude. That makes more sense. Thought you were cracking a joke. Let's see. Here. I lost like half my voice, man. That's kind of what's going on. I got this like raspy smoker's voice going on today, which happens to me every once in a while. Let me know if that's better. Now I'm like on the microphone. And we'll go gain up a little bit. How about that, brother? Let me know if that's clear. Thank you for that feedback. If you can't see me or you can't hear me or something's crazy, we're good. I got you. Let me know. That's good feedback. Not helpful if I'm just, if I'm talking like this, like in whispering, nobody can hear me. New week opening gaps. Are there levels for you? Mike S. I don't really pay attention to new week. I'm going to be honest. I don't know how we're defining a new week opening gap. The only gap, because there's different ways to define these, right? Guys will say, the gap that I'm talking about with Edgeful is not a true gap, which could be true. I'm talking about the regular trading hours gap for the U.S. indices, which would be if during Monday we close and at the open and we move up during extended trading hours, and at the open for NYSE on the next day, we are above that closing price. That's quote unquote a regular trading hours gap. I guess that's the way you would call it. Some guys are looking for a physical gap in price during extending trading hours, or whenever, I guess, an actual gap. Friday settlement to Sunday. I got you that gap. That makes sense. No, I don't. I'm sure a key level, important stuff to pay attention to. I just have the stuff that I watch in general, and that's kind of enough for me. But I'm sure that's an important one to look at. On ES, or even with any US indice, I'll tell you my favorite levels, again, as we're just kind of watching US, we're watching Dow, kind of just trade around VWAP here. If I had to pick objective levels, not discretionary, right? And let's talk about that. Discretionary would be, I think a zone should go anywhere on this chart, and it's not based on market-generated information. It's different than what you would find on your chart because you're not me, and you don't know exactly the way my mind was working at that moment. Objective is something like prior day's high and low. It's market-generated information. Prior day's high and low is the same on my chart as it is on your chart. It's not my opinion. It's an objective level. Same with something like that. That's my first level. Second would be what I called overnight high and low. Some guys call it pre-market high and low, Globex high and low. The high and low, the trading range that's put in from session changeovers, from session close on one day all the way up into NYSE session. I like to pay attention to those levels. I find them helpful. I think they're tested on a lot of the U.S. indices often and respected. They can help you structure trades, find direction, create a bias, all those good type of stuff. But there's literally an infinite number of other levels. We were talking about pivot points last week. We were talking about always, there's another objective level. There's opening ranges, right? 15-minute opening range, 30-minute opening range, initial balance, 1 hour. If I had to pick one of those on YM, I'm looking at 1 hour. I'm looking at the initial balance. On ES, I really like to pay attention to the 15-minute opening range as well, mostly because I was just waiting for that to set and staying out in a way that I don't really do on YM. But those are some key levels. If you were looking for something just to start out with, I'm a fan of those three. If I had to pick, and you said you can't put any discretionary zones in your chart, I'm going prior day high and low, overnight high and low, and initial balance. Once that sets the opening range, maybe 15-minute or 30-minute opening range could be helpful as well. But again, those aren't better than any other levels, right? They're just my preference. There's a ton of other ones that you could find. If you trade with TopStep, you trade with TopstepX, you get TopStep daily levels. You could also just get it from them for free. I think if you go to their site, or is it the TopStep TV? Let's see. Hang on. I don't want to misquote this. Yeah. TopStep TV here. You guys want an example of this? I don't stand I don't really use all this stuff, but this is a good example of what I'm talking about. TopStep daily levels. These are a bunch of, I don't think maybe there is discretionary stuff in here, but there is a bunch of objective market generated information in here. Value area lows, monthly VWAP, weekly lows, all these different types of deal. And it can be helpful to just pay attention to and get an idea for some new levels if you're looking for that type of stuff. Another one that I was paying attention to quite a bit before I just kind of started to get too much on my chart again was prior day's volume point of control using a fixed range volume profile. Oh, there we go. Coming all the way down. There's the short, guys. Using fixed range volume profile or something like session volume profile HD on a trading view indicator, you can get the point of control, and I would use that from the prior day's volume point of control. Again, I like the volume tools coming from Forex into futures. I think it's a really cool new piece that I didn't have before, and I find those levels interesting. So that's another one. But again, man, I think pick some stuff that you like. And again, for me, let me back it up. For me, discretionary levels seem to work really well. I'm almost always lining them up with some major objective levels, like prior days high and low, prior sessions like high and low, prior overnight high and low. I'm going to be paying attention to these levels. But discretionary stuff on YM seems to work just fine for me. I don't seem to have any additional benefit of creating this super duper specific way of identifying my zones from the top of the wick to the bottom of the wick, and this specific order block basing candle. I've tried it so much in the past and dedicated so much time to that, and I just don't feel that it was energy well spent. Throw in the basic zone around that area, because that's how I'm going to use it. It's kind of just an area that I want to pay attention to, is good enough for me. And then focusing more on price action, market structure, reading momentum, what's actually going on the chart that you're looking at, rather than honing in and trying to get within one tick of some specific thing. Because in my humble opinion, price doesn't really move like that. You get times where you'll top tick and bottom tick stuff, but for the most part, it's going to be a zone, right? So, whatever works for you. If being super duper specific and objective is important to you, and you find that helps you, you go for that, man. You send it. Sell it off through VWAP a little bit, not really aggressively. Yeah, Yeah, looking over at ES and NQ over on the side without changing this chart. Not a whole lot out of them either. Kind of just chopping around the lows. They did just put the session low in, but they're reacting right back off of it. So not super excited on those guys either. These are great information to look over. Yeah, man. Again, find stuff that works for you. You know, the more that I trade, Mike Z, I have 0 trade. Oh no. I've been there, dude. It just started. You're only like a couple hours into the trading week. It's Monday, Mike. Just lock it up for today if that's how you're feeling. We just got started. No, I've been there, dude. Take it easy. Don't keep going if that's how you're feeling. If confidence is off. That one was funny. That was funny. I lost my train of thought on that one. I got you, dude. Yeah, it's Monday, guys. It's Monday, and it's a no news Monday, where and a no news Monday leading into some earnings, some news later this week, and then a U.S. election coming up on Tuesday of next week. We're only a week out from a major political event that typically has a pretty heavy impact on the financial markets. Oftentimes, not all the time, and you shouldn't form this unhealthy bias around it, but you can be aware of it, right? Oftentimes, on no news days that are preceded by larger news or larger events, we get chop. We get low volume. We get range-bound, kind of, just slow-moving, maybe irregular price action. Some volatility comes in every once in a while. But we kind of get that choppy BS type of day where not a whole lot happens. It looks like it's going to happen, and then it kind of just fails. And then maybe it looks like it's going to happen the other way, and then it kind of just fails. Not all the time. Sometimes we just rip, on like a holiday or whatever it is. So you could take that into consideration. Traditionally, on days with a lot of news or high-impact political events that may affect the markets, we typically see a lot of volatility, right? A lot of movement, a lot of volume. A decision is made and, higher prices are in store or lower prices are in store, and we get a lot of that movement. Or a lot of back and forth movement. It's rangy, but we get a lot of movement, a lot of momentum. Again, not always, right? Sometimes news events are a dud, and we just, we chop or we pump, and then we come right back down to where it started. So don't form this unhealthy bias around it, but be aware of that stuff. That's kind of where we were today. Again, talked about that. I think I said that verbatim in analysis, right? No news Mondays, traditionally low volume, low volatility, choppy days. That said, U.S. election is next week, Tuesday, November 5th. It's more important than ever to remember anything can happen, right? We are in that ACH type of market. Anything can happen, as the guys on Top Step TV like to say. Mike S. So if you are trading on, let's just go to a trading view chart for this. Hang on. I'll show you how to look at regular trading hours. Let's go to a YM chart. Down here, let's make sure you guys can see this. No, you can't because my thing is in the way. Do I start messing with OBS here? Hang on one second. My boy Mike. Here we go, brother. On TradingView, which I'm assuming you use to a certain degree. Maybe you don't, and I'm sure your broker or platform has this as well. You can click down on this button if you use TradingView or TopstepX. It's the same thing. Here it is on TopstepX. Well, my head's in the way for that, but you can't see it. You have electronic trading hours or regular trading hours. Extended trading hours or regular trading hours, also known as. The standard is electronic trading hours, right? You get the overnight session. You get, kind of just this continual deal that runs right outside of session changeover. You see that on TopstepX as well, that session changeover time. Regular trading hours, you throw the chart in regular trading hours, and you can see you get the open at 9:30 a.m. Eastern and it finishes up at 4:10 p.m. And then the next candle that prints on the next day, right? This is Friday. Next candle that prints is 9:30 a.m. Eastern again. You can take a look at just these charts. There are plenty of cases to be made for paying attention to highs and lows, zones that are put in during regular trading hours over just extended trading hours. So maybe that's something you want to incorporate. Again, I'm blocking it, but purposes was to show you this button down here. So that's how you would find that. That's how you would find that, is toggling between those two. I'm not like the regular trading hours guy where I really need to pay attention to that. I mean, maybe if I'm marking up a chart, I'm going really far back in time, I'm looking at higher time frames, maybe I throw that in just to kind of pay attention to if there's some kind of anomaly or something that happens during Globex or London session that I really don't want to take into consideration. But not really. For me and my entire career, it's just been the standard, down here, standard stuff, extended trading hours. Actually, I'm from the Forex market, so, none of that stuff really even applied. Crack down below VWAP, guys, and then a pullback up to it. Yeah, I'm not in love with this price action. I'm really not. Again, short would not have been continuing through if I was short from this level. Like I said, gun to my head. This looks pretty good. This could be a nice break and retest structure that we're looking for. Just looking at them together. Yes. NASDAQ. Looking kind of weak. Putting these lows in, continuing to move lower, finding resistance at VWAP. Really not so correlated. Again, as you can see, Dow living in its own world. So I think if you trade ES and NQ, you deal with a pretty positive correlation. Dow can just be in its own world, like it is today. Oh, what time is the high or low formed? That's a good question, Mike. You know who will have the answer to that? And I'm going to let you go and find it. Edgeful. Edgeful will have the answer to that. There is a report in Edgeful that gives you stats around when highs and lows are formed that you can customize based on different time frames. There are a ton of reports in Edgeful. I can only pay attention to so many and use so many in my trading before I just get overwhelmed and I'm getting conflicting information, just too much. But that's where I would go for that, man. Maybe I let you take a look at that one yourself. Are you using Bookmap now? What's up? Here is Bookmap. I always run Bookmap over on the side. I've shown this one to you guys a couple times. Again, today, right now, into the afternoon, I don't have a major level, right? I don't have a major level or levels. Let's zoom back out like we had, just to use this as an example, this morning, right? This is the type of stuff that I look for. This is the simple way that I use Bookmap. Really, really big levels. Maybe that's something I want to pay attention to. Maybe price is going to head there. Maybe not. Maybe when it gets there, it's going to be used as resistance the way that it was this morning because there's no real other levels on Bookmap above that. And it's not likely to go and check out another level of structure past that before it comes back down and retest VWAP. That was my thesis today that played out. Execution good, read good, trade management too aggressive with stop loss to break even. But yes, this is Bookmap. I run this on the side. Again, I trade straight from TopstepX. This is a cool order flow tool that I've added to my trading this year. Coming into the futures market, you get level 2 data. You get your price levels over here, quantity of orders on the book. Again, this is not what I pay attention to. This is what is referred to as algorithmic liquidity provider, liquidity band type of stuff. I'm looking for real big lit up levels on the order book. And then I go to my candlestick chart and I say, hey, do I have a level there? Am I already paying attention to this? Is this an important high or low? Is it prior day's high or something? We got a bunch of orders right above that or below that, whatever. Or is it somewhere else right above price? Big round number, psychological level, something that's been tested, maybe something that I wasn't paying attention to. I think that's what it can be helpful for. You can get way more in depth. I'm taking a very stupidly simple elementary way of, using Bookmap. You can utilize this in much, much, much more detail. So, and in more than one way. So, but yeah, you can check Bookmap out yourself if you'd like. You can use my link. You could go to their site, whatever you want to do. If you decide you want it, discount that I've got on is pretty aggressive. But they have their own whole Discord. They run live sessions. They answer questions in there. They have a ton. It's kind of a daunting amount of videos, educational stuff for free, straight from their site. That's where I would go if I wanted to learn more about Bookmap. All about the software, and then about the theories behind utilizing liquidity in your trading. Man, so don't want to market buy. Don't want to do that. I've done that before, by the way. So here's a fun thing. If you right click on a trading view chart or a TopstepX trading view chart, you can reset the chart, right? And then that locks your price and time access. If you might want to be cautious doing that, and you can hit, option R for me on my keypad, resets the chart, because I don't know if I did it live. I might have done it live. I've accidentally came down to click reset chart view, and I've had market buy, and I've market bought, 1 or 2 or whatever it was. So be cautious of the fat finger stuff. I fat fingered a buy and a sell live before as well. It happens, and it can be costly. Yeah, man, no real follow through to the downside on Dow. Right back up. This doesn't look like your nice clean, break below VWAP and then retest or whatever we're going to do and then continue. This is some structure pushing back up to the upside. Now, if sellers stepped right back in to take this thing lower, I still think a short looks okay. But right now, I'm in the holding position. That's what we're looking at. And we might get something that sets up for a really nice play to the downside for the afternoon. Even if you guys were not going to hang this whole time, that's what I'm looking at. We get back above this level, now I'm sitting and waiting because shorts are just not in store. If we start to react again, come back down below VWAP, back down below this low, I'm looking short for a larger move to the downside. That is showing buyers continue to try to take this thing higher, and now we're getting some clean structure starting to form to the downside. Right now, yes, we got down below VWAP. We didn't get down below, the 930 open low here, and we are kind of just chopping within this range, right? Here is our session range for the day. Do we have a ton of direction here? Right? If we put our line right here, not really. We pushed up at the open, pulled back down, pushed up, pulled back down. Now we're pushing back up. This looks like just a trading range: buy the high, sell the low. If that's your MO. So, not the way really that I trade. Well, I won't say that because I do trade that way, but not the way that I trade Dow into the afternoon, where I try to identify different ranges on different time frames and just fade the extremes. I'll fade the extremes on Dow around important levels. If I'm going to look for a move to start to play out into the afternoon, I'd like to have some direction, that we're going to break below this low and continue lower. Initial balance high would have been over here. So we did crack initial balance to the upside. We failed, came all the way back down in. So we'll hang for a little bit longer on this, guys. We'll see what we get, but not a spectacular day. Again, not super surprising with a no news Monday, but that's part of it. Try to identify if it's super choppy if you can, and not get involved. Don't just don't give money to the markets if you don't have to. Mike, I have a list of questions. Give me your keyboard. Mike, we can did you do a free trial, Mike? You can do the free trial, Mike Z. You get Edgeful for free for like 7 days. So you could check it all out, take your time. Maybe you do it when you're not trading or when you have time to play with it for a week. But you can check Edgeful out for free. If you have questions, man, hit me in Discord and I'll go through it. I'll take time. We'll talk about different stuff. They are also really responsive. Again, I'm partnered with them, so grain of salt everything I say, but they're responsive. I'm asking them actually today about some really, really tight scalping style reports that they might be able to customize, or if they already have something that I'm looking for. I use volume profiles indicator. Yeah, man. I think it's easier and free. It is a different thing that we're measuring there. So a volume profile, like this one that we can look at that I use sometimes, this would be your visible range volume profile, right? This would be a drawing tool, something like a fixed range volume profile, saying I want to know the volume profile from here to here. This is giving you horizontally plotted volume that's traded. What Bookmap is giving you is different. Although there is volume within Bookmap in a number of different ways, you are looking at liquidity in Bookmap. You are looking at orders on the book. That's actually what we're looking at. It's level 2 data, and it's the depth of market, right? It's displayed by way of a heat map, but you can get a lot of the same information, if you didn't want to use Bookmap, from the ladder, from the DOM, depth of market. What it's showing you is at, whatever price level, right? 42,650. How many orders are sitting at 42,650 right now, right here? What does that look like? And then what happens when we get there? What happens when we get there is shown in volume, right? Because that's volume traded. But with order flow, with different order flow tools, doesn't have to be Bookmap. Some guys use Sierra charts, just their regular depth of market from whoever their broker is. You are able to see in the futures market live liquidity in the markets. How many orders are at whatever specific price level at whatever specific time? What happens as time goes on? What happens as price moves above and away from that or below? That's what Bookmap is showing you. So just different information. A little bit different information. No pressure, my man. Yeah. And again, I'll continue to use it to talk about how I use it on here very, very simply. Very simply. I'm paying attention to large stacks of orders on the book. I mean, I'm using it really like a kindergartner. There's so much more you can do with it. There's so many different indicators and add-ons. There's so many different theories, the way that you can trade utilizing liquidity and reading the ladder. And I'm really taking a very, simple approach just because I like what I have now as far as what works for me. It's got me to this point. When I add stuff in, I like to test with the basics. And if something is, useful that way, we keep it really, really simple, without going head over heels and having, trading from Bookmap with 47 different indicators and all that type of stuff. So yeah, man, no pressure, no pressure. Not yet, but add stats. Scout. Yeah, man. Yeah, again. None of these things are going to be standalone. I know we're just talking as prices is moving around here, guys. Again, I don't have a trade. This is buyers. To me, this looks like buyers stepping back in, trying to bring this thing higher. I'd say this is somewhat of a level that we're at right here, right? These lows that, were broken in this move to the downside. I'd like to see what happens here. I'm not going to leave a zone. Do we react really harshly? Do we stay below these highs up here and start to continue back down? Maybe sells. But right now, this is just looking kind of choppy to me. Again, when I look at this, type of data, here's our trading range right now, right? From this high that's put in 11:15 a.m. Eastern to the 9:30 low. Kind of choppy, kind of directionless. So I want to take a look to see, maybe we get a sell set up into the afternoon to the downside here with a way to structure risk right above these highs. Something like that could be in store. We come all the way back up, break these highs. Now I really don't have a way to structure along, and I'm probably just, sitting out. So we'll see. Momentum can come in at any time, although it is, 12:22 Eastern. So we're during NY lunch. Oh, man. Are you running any discounts for one-on-one? Yeah, guys. So the only paid program that I have is working with traders one-on-one. I'm here for free, discussing everything in detail, the way that I do, showing you my trades, showing you, how I trade. I don't gatekeep anything. I give you everything for free. The only thing I charge for is working with traders one-on-one. Trading live together every morning, not as a signals group or a way to copy me, because I trade the same way and I tell you about my trading anyway. It's to work with you to build you into the trader that you can become. Working on trading plan, the entire trading plan, not just strategy, risk management, psychology, mainly psychology and mindset, how we're going to journal, really fully organizing that, treating it as a business, putting it into play over the course of 5 weeks together every morning for 2 hours every morning with the small group, and then one-on-one 2 times a week for 1 hour each through Zoom. If you're interested in that, you could book a free call to talk to me. I'm aggressive coming into the end of the year. I got time to work with guys. I kind of have a continually ever-shifting schedule. I'm adding new things on. I'm starting to study for the Series 3. I don't know exactly how I'm going to structure everything. So if you want to work with me, now's your chance. I'm taking people on. There will probably be a time where I say, hey, I waitlist maybe or something in the future, because it is a lot to do. I'm on TopStep TV all the time now. Working with these different platforms, which is awesome. It's a lot to handle. So, but yeah, if you're interested in that, man, hop in Discord. You can book a free call, zero pressure. No worries. If not, you can be here for free every day. You can be in Discord for free, asking me questions. That's cool too. But different than coaching, very different than coaching. Getting me to work with you one-on-one for 50 to 60 hours over the course of 5 weeks every single day is a lot different. What do I think of? Yeah, man. Any indicator that you like is fine, man. I don't have any like really strong preference to any indicator. I like volume weighted average price. Again, it's a volume tool. But all I would say about general indicators are there's only so much of them I think that you need, right? Most of them are derivatives of price and time and volume. So you get that information from your candlestick chart for the most part and volume. How many different ways do you need to read that at the same time to make a good trading decision and structure risk? So I'd ask yourself that question. If you have too many indicators reading the same thing, you're using Bollinger Bands and MACD and RSI and volume profiles and 47 million different things on your chart, when you can get a lot of it just from looking at your candlesticks, and maybe volume in a couple different ways, which I think could be helpful. Again, you saw the one other one that I have hidden up there, which is the visible range volume profile. So that tells you what I like. But I was the 47,000 indicator guy back in the day and just consistently losing money. So that's where I came from. Bookmap was great. Seeing the instant orders being seeing them being pulled off. When you enter, it won't be the same. Yes. Yeah. Bookmap's helpful, man. Again, is it some magic, tool that's going to make you profitable? You need it to trade. I talk about this stuff a lot. I make jokes for the guys that talk about liquidity and don't use any form of order flow. And I get a lot of these comments, from the same, seems to be the same guys. But it's okay. A lot of these comments, that you don't need order flow. You don't need, Bookmap to be profitable and trade well. You don't need Bookmap to be able to make money trading. And other guys don't use Bookmap. So why would I need Bookmap? I agree, 100%. You don't need anything. What you need or want and what I need and want are two completely different things. And there are professional traders that make tons of money using no order flow. And there are professional traders that make tons of money using order flow. The same way there are a million different tools on both camps there that guys use and don't use. Going to be different for everybody, man. So there's no magic answer. I wish there was, but there is not. And if you can give that search up and just say, hey, this looks like something maybe that would be helpful to me. I'm going to test it. I'm going to be cautiously optimistic about it. But I recognize that, yeah, maybe it's giving me new information, but I don't know how I'll use that information. Maybe it'll be too much for me. Maybe I won't be able to perceive it in a way that is conducive with the style that I trade. So it's whatever works best for you. And if MACD, for some reason, that specific tool, the way that you understand it, it gives you the confidence to trade that you need. It helps you structure risk and, interpret market information. Go for it, dude. Send it. Like, that's your thing. Test different things, but recognize there's no one holy grail, including the tools that I use. Again, you might not find Bookmap or Edgeful helpful at all. You might find them harmful because it's too much information, or it's information that you just can't utilize and you don't like it. And you might say, dude, MACD is the best. That is the best thing for me. And for me, having MACD on the bottom, I'm looking at a crossover to the upside when I'm looking to get short, and it totally is constantly, contradicting the way that I trade. So I think that's a good understanding to have, right? I'm going to show you the way that I trade, the tools that I use, and the stuff that I find helpful. I think you might also find it helpful. But recognize there is no one best thing, and you might find that you will have to create your own approach. You can't copy anybody else, no matter how much everybody wants to. You can't copy me verbatim. You can't. I'm sure you tried with other people, and I tried with other people myself early on in my career. You can't do it. Everybody's mind works different, at least slightly different. You'll jive with some people better than others. You'll have a better alignment with some traders and styles than you do with others. But at the end of the day, man, you got to make it work for you. You have to make it your own. You have to make it the way that your weird mind works with these financial markets. And that should be the key. That should be the key. So that's my opinion. You can grain of salt in and say, nope, there's only one right way to trade. And somehow all of the hundreds of different traders that do make money that are trading different ways, that's just an anomaly. But I think that's the demonstration right there. You know, there's guys that use vastly different tools and do very well. That's important. And I think if you flip-flop those guys and you gave them different tools to use, they would suck. They wouldn't be able to do it. So, experiment, find what works for you. Don't search for the Holy Grail. It's not out there. You can give it up now. There's no rules-based system or one way to trade. If there was, we would code it into a bot, and none of this stuff that we do would exist. Discretionary trading wouldn't be a thing. You're the indicator. Your mind, your ability to manage risk and manage trades and enter and exit and position size. That's the key. It's you. You're the indicator. You're the Holy Grail. So learn that. Use tools that are helpful for you. And then work on yourself. Look internal. That's my humble opinion. Oh, the strategies unuseful. Do they give you? Mike, that's a good question, man. They're not going to give you a actually, they recently just sent an email, a really cool email. I'll try to link it to you guys in Discord. That was really in depth. I didn't go through the entire thing, but it was breaking down a strategy based around one of their reports. But the basic answer to that question is no. They're not giving you a strategy in a sense that says this is the way to trade this report. Enter here, exit here, stop loss here, take profit here. They're going to give you statistics that you would look for in back testing, based around an infinite number of different things. Levels, structure, time, volume, all of these different things. And what happens is you can create a strategy or maybe add some edge to your strategy based on that information. But that's kind of more what it is. It's like the stuff that you would look for in back testing condensed into a report. But it's not, there's nothing that's going to tell you enter here, exit here. That's not it. But yeah, man, I'll answer a couple more questions and hang with you guys. But again, watching us kind of retest this level, right? These lows down here, my gun to my head short would not have played. I'm glad I didn't take anything, but we're sitting patient, waiting to see, are we going to start to form something like this? I'm not convinced in that yet, or else I'd be short. Are we going to come all the way back up above these highs here for the session and start to run the upside? Nothing crazy helped me out on Bookmap. We got a pretty decent rejection near VWAP off of the lows in the session. We are really range bound here. That's how I'm classifying this, at least for me, for this session, right? This is your 930 low. This is the high that's been put in so far. We've really failed to get above or below this, and we're not forming structure like we're ready to break out to the upside and have a clean way to structure risk up or down right now. So basic price action and market structure, choppy. That's what I'm looking at. S&P. Yeah. Sometimes VWAP is in a dumb area, so bear with me. Looking weaker. Definitely looking weaker, right? Put the low in over here, but choppy. Pretty choppy overall. Maybe we come and fill this gap. Kind of the same thing that I'm looking at on YM. But no trade yet. But good conversation, man. And again, if nothing else, I want to trade on here with you guys. I want to be able to show you the trade management, the risk management, all that fun stuff. Talk about all that. It's important. And I've been putting on more trades. But if I get a day like today where there's just nothing that really would have paid unless I was somehow super aggressive, to the upside or really aggressive to the downside with a tight risk, it's okay. I'd rather just not take losing trades. Custom indicator using PineScript. Awesome, man. MACD volume. Great. It's been working for me. Still hitting stop loss sometimes and then reaching my target. Any advice? Here's my continue 90% of the time. Let me just read the next one. How fast the candle in my direction from. Yeah, so you're trading momentum, Mike Z. Yep. Volume and momentum. I utilize that as well when I'm trading in the direction that price is moving right here, right now. But that's volume and momentum. That's cool. It's cool, man. To the gentleman that was talking about Pine Script and coding something using MACD volume RSI, here's my humble opinion. I've talked about this a lot. Again, just opinion. Based on my experience and my search for a long period of time to find a rules-based objective strategy, something that would be able to get coded into an EA or bot, I was never able to find that. And based on conversations with PhD software developers and veteran traders, by luck that I had to get to have this conversation, the vast majority of what retail traders like us are able to combine do not work in the long term. They may work in the short term. They may be helpful to a degree, but you have to apply your discretion. You have to apply your intuition. That's where the edge comes in, and risk management. 100% objective, rules-based combinations of all of these different indicators, in my humble opinion, don't work outside of a very, 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 very small minority that are exploited for a short amount of time, constantly monitored, and then kind of trashed for on to the next thing, which is what these gentlemen that I had that conversation with do. So I don't love that journey that you're on, man, but you may be an anomaly and find something. So I'm not going to tell you you can't do something. I think that's a dumb thing for anybody to do in trading or in life. But in my experience, I spent a lot of time going down that road, and I was never able to make it work. I started to get traction and get better when I realized I had to apply my discretion, my intuition. I had to be able to start to just focus on price action and market structure, simplify everything down, and be able to read the market to the best of my abilities and put these trades on. And then it was really confirmed by a lengthy conversation with gentlemen that do this full time. And the answer is, no. Vast majority of stuff that profitable traders even come to us with and want us to code doesn't work. They don't realize that they're applying discretion. And if it is objective and if it does work, we're talking about a tiny, tiny percentage that has to be constantly monitored, have really, really specific adjustments for risk management during volatility at different times. And even those, for the most part, have a pretty short lifespan. So, I'm a favor of simplifying it. And I think this is how you see most successful traders trade, at least on the retail side, right? Either with prop firms or live accounts. Close to a naked chart, man. Maybe you get guys like Rips that have a lot of information. You do get professionals that are utilizing a lot of information, right? You see all the crazy monitors and stuff. But I think it's a good example to look at guys like Dakota from TopStep or Tom Hogard, right? That are trading with a borderline naked chart, right? I think it explains a little bit of the you don't need to try to create this insanely complicated strategy and make it 100% rules based, and objective. I wish it was that easy, but unfortunately, it's not, in my humble opinion. So that's my 2 cents, man. Not to sound negative there, but gonna give you the honest answer. What's good, man? What's good? Asian was Andre. How we doing, man? Asian's pretty good. Cool. Top hedge funds do have ultra fast algorithms which are profitable. Thus, rule-based systems. I guess so. I don't know how the hedge fund algorithms work. My guess. But again, based on my experience and conversation with guys that are, again, like the higher level of guys that would code for big time retail traders, right? The answer is it's just not like the combination that we're talking about here. MACD, volume, all of the indicators that are available, all of the different information that's available to retail traders. Combining that somehow into this simple system that tells you buy here, sell here with a fixed risk to reward, in my humble opinion, is a tough road to go down. I was never able to make it work myself. Maybe somebody else can. And I had that confirmed by guys that do it, do it for business. Not top hedge funds though. Don't have experience talking to those guys, so I can't speak on it. Got you, man. Yeah. Nice, dude. Yeah. Again, if you were like summarize that down, Zach, and just give me a straight answer. Find tools that you can use to keep things as extremely simple as you can, and find a good way to manage risk and utilize your intuition and discretion within reason. Right? A real trading plan that tells you how much intuition and discretion you're allowed to use and where you're allowed to use it. That's where you're going to be able to start to make money over a large number of trades. The 100% rules-based objective strategy, the holy grail, just don't think it's out there, man. I wish it was, but I don't see anybody that's been able to find it yet. So, but yeah, good conversation, guys. Good conversation. Chopping back down around VWAP, testing VWAP again. Do we break back down? Do we start to waterfall? Like this would be the, right? Okay, so we're looking at this area, right? We are coming back down. Here's the lows. My zone was really down here. I'm not going to cherry pick these highs. Came back down to VWAP. Do we start to break down and really get sellers in? Do we start to see some momentum to the downside? It's kind of what I've been sitting on here this whole time looking for. I'd be tempted to try the short, but this is a tough one, man. You take it from up here with a stop loss like this, you're really not waiting for confirmation, right? We're not even broken below VWAP and holding below. We're not breaking below lows of the session. We're not putting a fresh session low in. You wait for that. Now where does your risk go? Yeah, I'm not super enthusiastic about this structure, guys. I'd like to try it short towards this gap. I think everybody's got their eye on it, and usually when that happens, it doesn't happen. You're right, it doesn't fill. When something's so blatantly obvious, market kind of just says, "Nope, we're not going to give you what you need." That's just a dumb kind of speculative way to talk about it. But I don't love this price action. So I don't love this structure. It feels rangy, feels choppy. Somewhat of what I was expecting. This was a beautiful setup the morning. Really good way that played out on Dow. Now we just don't have direction. It's feeling choppy. I'm trying to trade this directionally, right, to the upside or downside, and it feels more rangy, feels more choppy. So this is traditionally where I'll start to take L's. So probably just going to sit on my hands on this one, guys. Probably going to sit on my hands. Good talks today. Mike Z, I'll talk to you guys. Yeah, I'm going to wrap it up here as well, guys. This was a good session. No trade. Got to break down my trade from the morning, which was helpful because I think I provided a lot of detailed analysis in Discord. If you're not in the free Discord, hop in the free Discord. You want to check out Bookmap. You want to check out Edgeful for free. Links in the description. Talk to you guys soon. Live on Top Step TV, Tuesday for Power Hour, Thursday for Fast Markets. Hyped to be back on there. Would love to see you guys in the chat. It's always awesome to see somebody not calling me Jesus or making some dumb troll comment as I'm trying to trade. So if you have it in you to hop on and watch me live on there, I'll be taking trades or at least talking about the markets, and it's a fun program to be on. Along with that, Wednesday again here, 11:30 a.m. for free on YouTube. Actually, it's all for free on YouTube. And Friday, 11:30 a.m. Power Hour tomorrow, Top Step TV, 11:30 back here on Wednesday. Fast Markets, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, Top Step TV, 11:30 on Friday. That's the schedule for this week. Hope to see you guys soon. Hop in Discord, stay updated. Feel free to ask me questions. I love interacting with you guys. This was good conversation, so awesome stuff, man. Thank you for being here. Feel free, hit like, hit subscribe if you thought this was valuable. You don't have to do anything. Free means free, but I would greatly appreciate that. You'd help me figure out how to get more engagement on YouTube, which I can't figure out for the life of me. I just hop on here every day and trade. So anyway, guys, talk to you soon. Have a great rest of the day. Be easy.